Let me start with this. Investing as a couple isn't just about money. It's about trust. If you're not on the same page financially, no amount of money in the world will fix it.
Trust and transparency are the foundation of everything you're going to build together. And that starts before you ever put a single dollar into the market.
Too often, I see couples jump into investing without having those honest, sometimes uncomfortable conversations about their finances, only to find themselves fighting over decisions, goals, or mistakes down the road. Let me tell you, investing isn't just a financial exercise. It's a relational one. If you want to win with money as a couple, you've got to start by building trust. Trust begins with honesty. You can't make a plan together if you're hiding things from each other. That means putting everything on the table. Your income, your debts, your spending habits, and even your financial fears. Maybe one of you has student loans that feel overwhelming, or maybe the other has a credit card balance they've been too ashamed to talk about. Whatever it is, you've got to get it out in the open. This isn't about blame or judgment. It's about transparency. Because how can you build a future together if you're not being honest about where you're starting from? You've got to be willing to say, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm bringing to the table. And I'm ready to work with you to move forward. And once everything's out in the open, the next step is to talk about your values and beliefs around money. Let's be real. Every couple comes from different backgrounds, and those backgrounds shape how we think about money. Maybe one of you grew up in a family that was frugal and saved every penny, while the other grew up in a household that spent freely and enjoyed the moment. Those differences can create tension if you don't address them early on. Talk about how you view money. What does it mean to you? Is it a tool for security, a way to enjoy life, or something else entirely? Understanding each other's perspectives isn't just helpful. It's necessary. It helps you find common ground and avoid unnecessary arguments. Now, let's talk about communication, because this is where so many couples struggle. Money is one of the top causes of conflict in relationships, and it's usually not because of the money itself. It's because of how we communicate about it.
If you're not intentional about having regular, open conversations about your finances, little issues can turn into big problems. That's why I recommend setting aside time for what I like to call money dates.
These are regular check-ins where you sit down together, review your finances, and talk about your goals. It doesn't have to be formal or intimidating. Grab a cup of coffee or a glass of wine and make it a conversation. The point is to stay connected and on the same page. Because when you're communicating regularly, you're less likely to have those blowout fights over unexpected expenses or conflicting priorities.
But trust isn't just about honesty or communication. It's also about accountability. When you're investing as a couple, you're not just responsible for your own financial decisions. You're responsible to each other.
That means holding each other accountable to the plan you've made together. If you've agreed to stick to a budget, it's both of your jobs to make sure that happens. If one of you is overspending or making risky financial decisions, the other needs to speak up, not in a judgmental way, but in a way that says, hey, we're in this together and I want us both to succeed. Accountability isn't about control. It's about partnership. It's about saying, I've got your back and I know you've got mine. Let me share a story. I once worked with a couple who came to me after years of fighting about money. They both wanted to invest, but every time they tried to make a plan, it turned into an argument. When we dug deeper, it became clear that the problem wasn't their investments. It was their lack of trust and communication. They hadn't been honest about their debts, their spending habits, or even their financial goals. So we went back to basics. They laid everything out on the table, had some tough but honest conversations, and started meeting regularly to talk about their finances.
Over time, they began to trust each other again, and that trust laid the foundation for their investment.
Today, they're not just building wealth. They're building a stronger relationship.
That's what happens when you start with trust.
Here's the bottom line. If you want to invest effectively as a couple, you've got to lay the groundwork first.
Be honest, be transparent, and be willing to have those conversations that aren't always easy.
Build trust, because trust is what will carry you through the challenges and uncertainties that come with investing. And remember, this isn't just about money, it's about building a life together. Let's get to work. You've got this. Let me tell you something. Investing as a couple without shared goals is like driving without a destination. Sure, you might end up somewhere, but is it where you wanted to go? Probably not. This is why defining your why is so critical. Your why is the purpose behind your investing. It's what keeps you focused, motivated, and united when the road gets rough. And trust me, there will be bumps along the way. If you and your partner aren't clear about why you're investing, it's easy to get distracted, discouraged, or even divided.
But when you both know your why, you're not just investing money, you're investing in a shared future.
So, how do you figure out your why? It starts with dreaming together. Sit down with your partner and ask, what do we want our life to look like in 5, 10, 20 years? Don't hold back. This is your chance to dream big. Do you want to buy a home, retire early, pay for your kids' college education, travel the world, build a legacy of generosity, whatever it is? Write it down. This isn't just a wish list. It's your roadmap. When you both have a clear picture of what you're working toward, it's easier to stay aligned and make decisions that support your goal. But here's the thing. Dreaming is the fun part. The hard part is turning those dreams into specific, measurable goals. A goal isn't just we want to save for retirement. A goal is we want to have $1 million saved for retirement by the time we're 60.
It's not we want to buy a house someday.
It's we want to save $50,000 for a down payment in the next 5 years. Goals need to be clear, realistic, and tied to a timeline.
Why?
Because vague goals lead to vague results.
When you know exactly what you're aiming for, it's easier to stay focused and measure your progress along the way.
Now, let's talk about compromise, because this is where it gets tricky.
You and your partner might not have the exact same goals, and that's okay. Maybe one of you is laser focused on retiring early while the other wants to prioritize saving for a dream vacation.
Or
Maybe one of you is more conservative with money, while the other is comfortable taking bigger risks. These differences don't have to be a problem. They're an opportunity to grow together.
the key is to listen, understand, and find a balance that works for both of you. This might mean prioritizing one goal at a time or finding a way to work on multiple goals simultaneously. The important thing is that you're making these decisions together, not pulling in opposite directions. And let's not forget about prioritization, because you can't do everything at once. If you try to tackle too many goals at the same time, you'll spread yourself too thin and end up frustrated. Instead, focus on one or two goals at a time. Start with the basics. If you have debt, make paying it off your top priority. Then build an emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Once you've got that foundation in place, you can start working toward your bigger dreams. Remember, financial success is a marathon, not a sprint. Take it one step at a time. But defining your why isn't just about setting goals. It's about staying motivated. There will be moments when investing feels hard, when progress seems slow, or when life throws a curveball that makes you question whether it's all worth it. In those moments, your why is what will keep you going. It's what will remind you that every dollar you save, every investment you make, and every sacrifice you endure is bringing you closer to the life you've envisioned together. It's not just about the money. It's about the freedom, security, and opportunities that money can create. Let me share a story. I once worked with a couple named Sarah and Mike. They were both excited about investing, but couldn't seem to agree on their goals. Sarah wanted to focus on saving for their kids' college, while Mike was more interested in building a rental property portfolio. Every conversation about money turned into an argument and they felt stuck. So I asked them to take a step back and think about their why. What did they really want for their family? Through those conversations, they realized that their ultimate goal was the same: to create financial security and opportunities for their kids. With that clarity, they found a way to prioritize both goals, starting with college savings and gradually working toward real estate. Today, they're not just investing, they're thriving because they're united by a shared purpose. Here's the bottom line. Your why is the foundation of everything you'll build together. It's what turns investing from a task into a mission. It's what keeps you aligned, motivated, and focused on the big picture. So take the time to define your why, dream together, set clear goals, and remember that this isn't just about building wealth. It's about building a life you love together. Let's get to work. You've got this. Let me be clear. Without a budget, your investing dreams are just that, dreams. A budget is the foundation of every financial plan, especially when you're investing as a couple. It's the roadmap that shows you exactly where your money is going, how much you can afford to invest, and how you're going to reach your goals. Without it, you're flying blind. And let me tell you, a lot of couples find themselves in trouble not because they didn't want to invest or save, but because they didn't take the time to create a plan that works for both of them. If you want to succeed as a couple, the budget comes first. Always. Here's why a budget is so powerful. It gives you control. Without a budget, your money has a way of disappearing little by little until you're left wondering where it all went. A budget helps you take charge of your finances and ensures that every dollar you earn is working towards something meaningful. It also helps you avoid unnecessary stress and argument. How many couples fight over money because they don't know where it's going or what their priorities are? A budget eliminates that guesswork. It forces you to have those important conversations up front so you're both on the same page. Creating a budget as a couple starts with total transparency. Sit down together and lay out all your income, expenses, and debts. Be honest. This isn't the time to hide your Amazon purchases or forget about that credit card you've been avoiding.
Once you've got everything on the table, categorize your expenses into needs, wants, and savings. Your needs, things like housing, utilities, groceries, and transportation, come first.
Then you allocate money for wants, like eating out or entertainment. Finally, and most importantly, you set aside a portion of your income for saving and investing. Here's the rule: pay yourself first. Before you spend on anything else, make sure you're putting money toward your financial future. Now, let's talk about the magic number, 15. That's how much of your income I recommend dedicating to retirement and long-term investments once you've paid off all non-mortgage debt and built your emergency fund. This might sound like a lot, but trust me, it's not just doable. It's essential. Investing 15 consistently over time will set you up for financial freedom and give you the flexibility to pursue your dreams without worry. If you're not at 15 yet, don't panic. Start where you are and build up gradually. The key is to make investing a non-negotiable part of your budget. But let me address the elephant in the room. How do you budget as a couple without stepping on each other's toes? The answer is balance. While it's important to have shared goals, you also need room for individuality. That's why I encourage couples to create personal spending accounts within their budget. These are small, no questions, asked allowances for each partner to spend however they want. Maybe one of you loves coffee shop runs and the other has a weakness for tools or tech gadgets. Personal spending accounts give you the freedom to enjoy those little luxuries without feeling guilty or causing tension. It's a simple way to respect each other's individuality while staying disciplined with your overall plan. And let's not forget about the importance of flexibility. A budget isn't set in stone. It's a living, breathing plan that evolves as your circumstances change. Maybe you get a raise and now you can invest more, or maybe an unexpected expense comes up and you need to adjust your spending temporarily. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. The key is to communicate openly and revisit your budget regularly. Make it a habit to check in with each other at least once a month. Review your spending, track your progress toward your goals, and make any necessary adjustments. These check-ins don't have to be formal or stressful.
In fact, they can be a great opportunity to celebrate your wins and recommit to your plan.
Hey! Tell you about a couple I worked with named Chris and Emily. They were both high earners, but felt like they were spinning their wheels financially. Every month they talked about wanting to invest more, but somehow they never had any money left over. When we sat down to look at their finances, it became clear that they didn't have a budget. They were just spending as they went. Once they created a budget and started prioritizing their investments, everything changed. They discovered they could easily hit the 15 mark for investing and still have plenty left for their needs and wants. Today, Chris and Emily are not only investing consistently, but also feel more connected as a couple because they're working toward their goals together. Here's the bottom line. A budget isn't a restriction. It's a tool for freedom. It gives you the clarity and confidence to invest with purpose, knowing that you're not neglecting your present needs or overextending yourself. When you budget as a couple, you're not just managing money. You're building trust, creating alignment, and laying the foundation for a bright financial future. So take the time to sit down, create a budget, and commit to sticking with it. You'll be amazed at what you can achieve when you're intentional with your finances. Let's get to work. You've got this. Let me tell you something that can make or break your success as a couple investing together. Teamwork. You're not just partners in life. You're partners in building wealth.
But here's the catch. If you don't figure out how to work together, investing can quickly become a source of stress, conflict, or even resentment. That's why it's so important to divide roles and responsibilities in a way that plays to your strengths, respects your differences, and keeps you both engaged. Investing isn't a solo sport when you're in a relationship. It's a team effort.
And like any great team, you need a game plan. The first step to investing together is recognizing that you both bring unique strengths to the table. Maybe one of you is detail-oriented and loves diving into research, while the other is more big picture and focused on long-term goals. That's a good thing. You don't have to be identical to work well together. In fact, your differences can be an asset. The key is to communicate openly and figure out how to divide the responsibilities in a way that feels fair and balanced. For example, one of you might take the lead on researching investment options and tracking performance, while the other focuses on setting goals and managing the budget. Or maybe you share every task equally. It's all about what works best for you as a couple. But here's the thing. Even if you divide responsibilities, you're both ultimately accountable for your financial future. This isn't about passing the buck or saying, well, that's their job. It's about working together to make informed decisions and holding each other accountable to the plan you've created. That means having regular check-ins to review your progress, adjust your strategy if needed, and make sure you're still on the same page. These check-ins don't have to be complicated or formal. In fact, I recommend keeping them simple and even enjoyable. Make it a money date, grab coffee, go for a walk, or sit down at the kitchen table with your favorite snacks. The goal is to keep the lines of communication open and ensure that you're both actively engaged in the process. Now let's talk about what happens when you don't see eye to eye, because it's going to happen. Maybe one of you is more conservative and prefers safer investments, while the other is willing to take bigger risk for higher potential return. Or maybe one of you is laser focused on a specific goal, like paying off the mortgage early, while the other wants to prioritize retirement savings. These differences don't have to derail your plan. In fact, they can lead to better decisions if you handle them the right way. Start by listening to each other. Really listen. Understand where your partner is coming from, why they feel the way they do, and what their concerns are. then look for a compromise that honors both perspectives. For example, you might allocate a portion of your portfolio to conservative investments while taking calculated risk with the rest. The important thing is that you're working together, not against each other. Not against each other. Another key to investing as a team is using the right tools to simplify the process. Automation is your best friend here. Set up automatic contributions to your retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, or other investment vehicles so you don't have to think about it every month. Automation not only makes investing easier, but also reduces the likelihood of forgetting or falling behind. And if one of you tends to be more hands-off, automation ensures that the plan stays on track without constant oversight. Tools like budgeting apps or shared spreadsheets can also help you stay organized and transparent about your finances. The more streamlined your system, the less stress you'll feel, and the more likely you are to stick with your plan.
Let me tell you about a couple I know, Mark and Laura. Mark Lark loved researching stocks and following market trends, while Laura wasn't interested in the day-to-day details. She just wanted to know that their money was working for them.
At first, they struggled to find a balance. Mark felt like he was doing all the work, and Laura felt overwhelmed whenever he tried to explain his strategy. But once they started dividing their roles more intentionally, everything changed. Mark took the lead on researching investments and managing their portfolio, while Laura focused on setting their financial goals and tracking their overall progress. They also set up monthly check-ins to review their plan together, which helped Laura feel more involved and gave Mark the support he needed. Today, they're thriving, not just financially, but as a team. Here's the bottom line. Investing together isn't about one person taking charge while the other sits on the sidelines. It's about building a partnership where both of you are actively involved, even if your roles look different. When you divide responsibilities, communicate openly, and hold each other accountable, you're not just growing your wealth, you're strengthening your relationship. So take the time to figure out what works for you as a team and commit to working together every step of the way. Let's get to work. You've got this. Let me tell you something about investing as a couple. The road won't always be smooth. There will be setbacks, disagreements, and moments when the market, or even life, throws you a curveball.
And when that happens, you've got two choices. You can let the challenges divide you, or you can use them as an opportunity to grow stronger together.
The couples who succeed aren't the ones who never face adversity. They're the ones who face it head on together with patience, grace, and determination, because here's the truth. Navigating challenges isn't just about protecting your investments. It's about protecting your relationship and staying united in your shared vision. The first challenge you'll face as a couple is volatility. The market goes up. The market goes down. It's as predictable as the sun rising and setting. But let me tell you, those dips can feel terrifying when you're watching your hard-earned money lose value on paper. It's in these moments that emotions start to take over. Fear whispers, pull out now before it gets worse. Greed shouts, double down to chase those gains. And if you're not careful, those emotions can lead to decisions you'll regret later. This is why having a plan matters so much. When you've agreed on your goals, your strategy, and your timeline, you can remind each other to stick to the plan. Even when things get rocky, hold each other accountable. Say, we knew this would happen, and we planned for it. Let's stay the course. That kind of teamwork isn't just good for your portfolio. It's good for your partnership.
Another challenge is disagreement. It's natural for couples to have different perspectives on money, risk, and priorities. Maybe one of you is cautious and prefers a slow and steady approach, while the other is more comfortable taking risks for potentially higher rewards.
Or maybe one of you wants to focus on paying off the mortgage early, while the other is more concerned with maxing out your retirement accounts. These differences don't have to be a source of conflict. They can actually make your plan stronger. The key is communication. Don't assume you know what your partner is thinking, and don't dismiss their concerns. Listen, understand, and look for ways to find common ground.
Compromise isn't about one person giving in. It's about both of you feeling heard and working toward a solution you can both support.
And then there's the challenge of life itself. Emergencies, unexpected expenses, or even major life changes like having kids or switching careers can disrupt your financial plans. These moments can feel overwhelming, but they're also an opportunity to come together and adapt. This is where your emergency fund becomes a lifeline. It gives you the flexibility to handle the unexpected without derailing your investments.
But more importantly, it's about your mindset. Instead of panicking or pointing fingers, remind yourselves that you're on the same team. Say, this is a setback, not the end of the road. We'll get through it together. That kind of unity is what will carry you through the tough times and keep you moving forward.
Let me share a story. I knew a couple named Rachel and Dave who started investing together when everything seemed perfect. Their incomes were stable, the market was doing well, and they were excited about their future. But then life happened. Dave lost his job, and suddenly their financial plan felt like it was falling apart. At first, they panicked. They argued about what to cut back on and whether they should stop investing altogether. But then they took a step back, looked at their goals, and realized they didn't need to abandon their plan. They just needed to adjust it. They paused some of their investments temporarily, leaned on their emergency fund, and supported each other through the uncertainty. When Dave found a new job, they picked up right where they left off. Today, their portfolio is stronger than ever, but more importantly, so is their relationship. That's what happens when you face challenges as a team.
And let's talk about forgiveness, because this is one challenge a lot of couples don't see coming. At some point, one of you will make a mistake. Maybe you'll invest in something that doesn't pan out, forget to check in about a big financial decision, or overspend in a way that sets you back.
Mistakes happen. They're part of the process. The question isn't whether mistakes will occur. It's how you'll handle them. Blame and resentment won't get you anywhere. Instead, choose forgiveness, acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and move forward. Say, we're not perfect, but we're committed to doing better together. That kind of grace not only strengthens your partnership, but also makes you more resilient as investors. Here's the bottom line. Challenges are inevitable, but they don't have to derail your journey. Whether it's market volatility, disagreements, or unexpected life events, every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger as a couple. Stay committed to your goals, communicate openly, and remind each other that you're in this for the long haul when you face challenges together with patience, understanding, and unity. You're not just investing in your future wealth. You're investing in the strength of your relationship. Let's get to work. You've got this. Let me tell you something a lot of people forget to do in their financial journey. Celebrate. When you're investing as a couple, it's easy to get so focused on the next goal, the next milestone, or the next strategy that you forget to pause and recognize how far you've come.
But celebrating your wins, no matter how big or small, isn't just about feeling good in the moment. It's about building momentum, strengthening your partnership, and reminding yourselves why you started this journey in the first place.
Because here's the truth. Investing is a long game, and if you don't take time to appreciate the progress you're making, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. The first step to celebrating is recognizing what a win looks like for you as a couple. It doesn't have to be something huge like hitting $1 million net worth or paying off your house early. Although those are great goals to aim for, win can be as simple as sticking to your budget for the month, making your first investment together, or hitting a savings milestone.
Maybe it's maxing out your 401k for the first time, or maybe it's seeing your investments grow by even a small percentage. Whatever it is, take a moment to acknowledge it. Write it down, talk about it, and let yourselves feel proud. Because every win, no matter how small, is a step toward the life you're building together.
But here's the thing. Celebrating isn't just about patting yourselves on the back. It's about creating positive reinforcement. When you take the time to celebrate, you're reminding yourselves that the sacrifices you're making, the budgeting, the saving, the disciplined investing are worth it. It keeps you motivated and helps you stay on track, even when things get tough. And let's be honest, it also makes the journey a lot more enjoyable. Because what's the point of building wealth if you're not taking the time to enjoy the process along the way? So how do you celebrate? It doesn't have to be extravagant. Maybe it's a nice dinner out, a weekend getaway, or even something as simple as a movie night at home. The point is to choose something meaningful that feels like a reward for your hard work. And if you're working toward a big goal, consider setting smaller milestones along the way and celebrating each one. For example, if your goal is to save $50,000 for a down payment on a house, celebrate when you hit $10,000, $25,000, and so on. These mini celebrations keep you energized and remind you that you're making progress, even if the ultimate goal is still a ways off. Let me share a story. I knew a couple named Amanda and Josh who were working toward paying off $80,000 in student loans while also starting their investment journey. At first, they were so focused on their debt, free goal, that they didn't allow themselves any room to celebrate. Every extra dollar went straight to the loans, and they lived on a bare bones budget. But after a few months, they started to feel burned out. That's when they decided to shift their mindset. They set smaller milestones, like paying off $10,000 at a time, and celebrated each one with something special, like a date night or a small weekend trip. Those moments of celebration gave them the motivation to keep going. And before they knew it, they were debt-free and well on their way to building a strong investment portfolio. Enda and Josh didn't just pay off debt. They learned how to enjoy the journey, and that made all the difference. But celebrating isn't just about rewards. It's about reflection. Take time to look back and see how far you've come. Pull out your old budget, check your net worth from a year ago, or compare where you were when you started to where you are now. Seeing that progress in black and white is powerful. It reminds you that your hard work is paying off and that you're capable of achieving even more. It also helps you identify what's working and what you might want to adjust as you move forward. Reflection isn't just about celebrating the past. It's about setting the stage for even greater success in the future. And let me say this, celebrating your wins together as a couple does more than boost your finances. It strengthens your relationship. It reminds you that you're a team working towards shared goals and that every success is something you've built together. It creates a sense of unity and pride that carries over into other areas of your life. Because let's be real, when you're winning with money, it's not just about the dollars in your bank account. It's about the freedom, the security, and the opportunities you're creating for yourselves and your family. Here's the bottom line. Don't wait until you've made it to celebrate. Every step forward is worth recognizing. Every milestone is worth pausing for, because those moments of celebration aren't just about enjoying the present. They're about building momentum for the future. So take the time to celebrate your wins, reflect on your progress, and recommit to your goals. Together, you're not just investing money, you're building a life that's rich in every sense of the word. Let's get to work. You've got this.